live or you're watching the replay or you pulled it back up on YouTube or whatever. I thank God for you joining us because the Lord has really been blessing us during last month, which is our month where we focus in on the family. And there was one last little piece to focusing in on the family that I did not want us to miss. I wanted us to go ahead and get the whole thing so that we can have the whole picture. All right. And anybody that's watching for the month of May, they can watch all of them in succession and get the whole story and get the, all the information that they need. All right. So with that much being stated, we're not going to do a recap because, like I said, we dealt with the men, we dealt with the women, we dealt with the children, and now we're going to deal with the whole family unit. All right, because on tonight, the lesson is entitled Not So Brady Bunch. All right, Not So Brady Bunch. And it's coming from and dealing with the TV show because on the TV show, it was very interesting because it was a blended family. All right, where the husband was coming in with 3 kids and the wife was coming in with 3 kids, and they were trying to blend the family together. And they had different types of issues and different types of problems, but they looked, relatively speaking, perfect. And Rodney, I like the graphic that you did with the Brady Bunch family theme on there. That's very nice, really smooth. But it looks like it's the perfect family, all right? Because you got Marsha and you got the other 2 young ladies, and then you got the maid, and you got the husband, and you got the 3 boys, and everybody's trying to work together, and everybody's, looking like it's a great family, this, that, and the other. And, by the end of the episode, any problems or situations that they have is always worked out. Well, let's bust that bubble real quick. In real life, every situation ain't worked out within a half hour or an hour. That's just a sitcom. That's just a TV show. Because most of the time in life, sometimes we got situations, we got problems that take a lot longer than just a half hour. Some situations take years. All right. Some situations take actually sitting down with a counselor. All right. Why? Because some of the problems that arise because of things that happen in the family, it ends up embedding itself and causing, division in the family. It causes strife in the family. It pulls the family apart. And if those problems aren't dealt with, you can go 5, 6, 7, even 10, 15 years without talking to the person, without getting something straight. And even make it more plain, you can go 6 months, you can go a year, you can go 2 years, 3 years, any length of time without talking to the person, without getting it straight. And then what makes it really bad is sometimes when we finally do talk, we end up forgetting, all right, why we were mad. Why was the situation the way that it was? We end up forgetting about it. We don't even realize. It's like, hold up. Why was I angry with you? Why was I mad at you? Why do we have this situation? And we don't even realize and remember, but we kept being angry at each other. We kept being angry. We kept sitting up there and having animosity, strife, all types of stuff. Wouldn't pick up the phone, wouldn't answer a text message, wouldn't answer an email, none of that. And then what makes matters even worse is then we wait until we're on our deathbed, and now you want to reach out. Now you want to get things straight because your life is about to end. Nah, brother, nah, sister. If I send you a text message saying, hello, how you doing? Respond to it. You don't know what's going to happen. All right. And I'm not going to be morbid or anything like that, but we don't know. We do not know. And a lot of times, if we get the text message from somebody and we don't bother to reply, and then we end up finding out that a half hour after that text message was sent, they all of a sudden dropped dead. They were like, oh my goodness, oh my Lord. you know, then we having a woulda, coulda, shoulda. And it's like, nah, baby, you should have did that a long time ago. You should have did that a long time ago. You had more than enough time before to get it straight, but you didn't take the time out to get it straight. You let everything divide you. And what makes it bad sometimes is we are the cause of the division, but we're pointing a finger at everybody else. We're pointing a finger at everybody else, saying like it's on there, Marsha, 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 because you know that's what they would say on the Brady Bunch. All right, you know, but that's not, you know, always the case, because a lot of times we have to realize sometimes it's our fault. It's our perspective. It's how we look at the situation. It's how we perceive the situation. We had the wrong thing in mind. And so we're projecting that onto other people. And then to make matters even tighter, when we talk to other people and we have common, common friends, we turn around and project our, to say, hatred, animosity, or anger towards that person onto that person that we were talking to. So they end up mad at them. They end up having, you know, an issue with them, when in actuality, they don't even know why they're mad at them. But we projected that onto them. So now we have somebody in our corner. It's very rare that we will see somebody, all right, paint themselves in a bad light. It's very rare that we will see somebody tell the whole truth about themselves. All right, and don't sit up there and sugarcoat. You know, they'll you know, sugarcoat the way it happened. They'll say, well, what had happened was, what they did was this. No, what did you do? All right, to encourage. What did you do? All right, with the situation. How did you do it? What did you do? So with that much being stated, we are coming from Genesis chapter number 37. All right, Genesis chapter number 37, verses 23 through 25 and verse 27. All right, that is Genesis chapter 37, verses 23 through 25, and skipping down to verse 27. All right, and we'll read it to you. And then I have some questions that I need for us to jump on tonight. It reads this wise: and it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. Verse 27, come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites. And this is Joseph's brothers talking. Come, let us sell Joseph to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content, meaning they signed off on it. They signed off on it. Now, before we jump into that, let me ask this question. And it's a little twist to our normal questions. And the question is this: true or false? And I'm going to need you to support your answer. All right? True or false? Every family in the world is dysfunctional. All right? Is it true or is it false? I need you to come off of mute and answer the question, but also support your answer. And the question is, or the statement is, every family in the world is dysfunctional. Yes. Is that a true statement or a false statement?
That's a true statement.
Okay. Why is it true?
Because we all sin. We was born in sin. So no one is perfect. So whether it's a blended family or not a blended family, there's gonna be sin. There's gonna be trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's what the way we was born.
Uh-huh.
Because if it was a perfect family, what would be the point of Jesus Christ coming and dying?
Mm-hmm. Okay. True. True. All right. Somebody else has something to add to that? But let me ask this. Is a family, if you have a family where the husband is working, the wife is working, and the kids are both, all right, all of the kids, no matter how many kids you have, they are all on the honor roll and they're doing well and they have no issues. Is that family still dysfunctional? Does anybody want to take a stab at that one?
That's not real, Pastor. That's not real. Now you're
That's
going to
not
the
real.
Brady Bunch. That's not real.
That's not real.
That's not real.
That's not. How can that not be real?
Because I mean, even with kids, you're gonna have one kid that can maybe do math good and is not good in reading, and you're gonna have one kid that's good in reading and not good in math. So they gotta help each other. You gotta help each other. Nobody is
Mm-hmm.
perfect. No kid. I mean, I don't know what kids you're talking about, but all the families I don't blend in 3 families. And none of the families I know is like that. So, and each kid needs something different emotionally.
Uh-huh.
Each kid at each time, I mean, it's not, thank God, it's not all at one time, but each kid needs something, even if they are, if the father's a brain and the mother's a brain and they get all A's and B's, they still got emotional difficulties. Teenage years, 5-year-old year, first grade, kindergarten anxiety. So they
Mm-hmm.
still got emotional stuff going on with them.
But what if the parent is dealing with it very well, and the child and the children and the young adults and the teenagers are handling it very well? Is
I
it
don't
still
know
a
about no
dysfunctional
family like
family?
that. Maybe somebody else should answer that. Maybe they got a family like that. I don't. I
There's
don't know nothing about
dysfunction.
that.
There's dysfunction somewhere, even if it's hidden dysfunction. There's
Yes,
dysfunction
it's
somewhere.
dysfunction. Yes,
They
yes.
might be hiding it, but there's dysfunction somewhere.
Uh-huh. Brother Elijah put, the statement is true because no one sees/thinks the same way. Brother Isham put, yes, all families have concerns or issues. No one family is perfect. Anyone else? Because I heard Sister Fleeta.
I think also it's how you look at it, right? So dysfunction is not acting or operating normally. So what you may think may be functional, may be dysfunction for somebody else, is how you look at the family dynamic. And what you may see on the outside may look like it's running properly, but it's the hidden things which is going on behind closed doors. And so I think maybe how you view a family, you may think, what is going on over there? And it looks dysfunctional to you. It may be functional for them. So I think also is the lens you look
Mm,
through.
mm, okay, that's a nice thing, because even broadening it, you know, having kids before you're married may be the norm in one family, but it's not the norm in another family. Having your mother and your father not legally married or biblically married, that can be the norm. Or you have 2 mommies, that can be the norm in your family.
It's the set standard for that family, the dynamics, the nucleus of that family, how the way they operate, what their beliefs may be, like you're saying, may be the norm for them, but someone else on the outside who may have different opinions, different views, different beliefs may look at it as total dysfunction.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. All right. And like we stated, every single family no matter who you are, no matter how the family is made. Mother Shula, you were right. Every single family has some type of dysfunction. Every family, no matter who it is. They could have, like I painted the picture, you could have a husband that's doing well. He's faithful to his wife. He's working. He's successful. Same thing with the wife. She is faithful. She is successful, doing extremely well. Both the kids, 3 kids, 2 kids, 1 kid, whatever, is doing extremely well. They are not a pain in the neck. They are respectful, well loved in their school. The family is well loved in the community, but there is some type of dysfunction inside that family. There's
Even
some
the
type of
dogs
dysfunction
don't act right
because Sister
sometimes.
Felita, oh, go ahead.
Even the dog won't act right sometimes. You tell him to come. You tell him to come in the house. He want to stay outside.
Like we said, there is some type of dysfunction somewhere within that house, within that family. Because like Sister Felita said, some are, and I believe it was Sister Felita, some are just better at hiding, all right, what some others consider dysfunction. They are just better at hiding it. All right. Does anyone else have a comment or a question or anything like that dealing with this first question? Okay. Now, the next question is this. Why do people try to keep the appearance of the perfect family? And that's why I had to switch the questions around. Why do people try to keep, all right, the appearance of the perfect family? Somebody come off of mute and let's have a chat.
I would say lying traditions. Like in the 80s and up, you would hear the mothers say, what happened in my house, stay in my house. Like, no, you're just crazy. And depending on what's going on in your house, you need to address that instead of trying to hide it. Because everything comes to light, no matter what it is, no matter how long it takes. You know?
Okay. All right. Someone else.
I think a lot of people try to live their life based on what it looks like. It has to look a certain way. So our family has to, you know, to the outside people, it need to look a certain way. All about looks.
Ah, okay.
I feel like say the same thing. You want that outside perception to be pristine because you don't want nobody to really know what's really going on because then you feel like you'll be judged or you'll be talked about or whatever. So you want that outside perception to be pristine.
You want to make like you don't have, you want it to look like you don't have any skeletons in your closet.
Yeah, like your attic is being used as another living room.
It's just an add-on. You got an outdoor living room, an outdoor attic. All right, someone else. Why do people try to keep the appearance of the perfect family? Try to look like the Waltons, you know, and stuff like that. Because even if you go back in the TV history, all right, they always said that the Cosby Show was a pipe dream, to put it one way, because there was no families in the United States where you had a successful father that was a doctor and a successful mother that was a lawyer, and you had kids that were doing relatively well in the United States. They said that was a false sense of reality, where you had the husband wearing expensive sweaters and living in a brownstone up in New York and stuff like that, and saying that, nah, what some people don't even realize is there were, and there still is, some people that are successful like that. And it's not a facade. It's not, they're trying to keep an appearance up or any of that. But I want to hear from you. Why do people try to keep the appearance of the perfect family? Why would they do that?
Imperfection doesn't look pretty. You don't want anybody in your business. So to keep people away, you make sure everything looks straight when you come out.
Wow. 'Cause that's like back in the day. I'm gonna be silly. That's like back in the day. Your mama always told you to make sure you go outside with clean underwear on because you don't know what's gonna happen.
That's right. You want to be caught with dirty ones. That's right.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Brother Elijah put online, he said, with the picture painted, though they are successful, don't mean they don't struggle to keep it that way. There might be a pressure to keep the family status and hide the real dysfunction. All right. Anyone else? Because I will move on to the next question, which is this, and it's a two-part question. Why do people keep family secrets? And Latrice, I'm glad you didn't expound too much on your question or your answer, because you was going right to my next question. I was like, Lord, bite her tongue, Lord, bite her tongue, Lord. But the question is, why do we keep family secrets? And the companion part to that question is, who does it really hurt? Meaning, who does the secret really hurt? All right, so let's answer that again, or let me read it again. Why do we keep family secrets? And the companion part of it is, who does it really hurt? Somebody come off of mute and answer that question for me. And let's dig at this one, because this is part of the real meat of the matter.
Some people feel embarrassed.
Uh-huh.
And first of all,
Somebody else is talking.
Go
ahead, B-Bye.
Go ahead, B-Bye.
Well, number one, embarrassment. Some people feel embarrassed, and some people, depending on what their quote unquote status is, they think that nothing's supposed to happen in this family, because after all, I'm Mrs. So-and-so, I'm Mr. So-and-so. And the other thing is, it hurts everybody. It hurts the person that something happened to, and it also hurt the whole family that's involved, as it's like a trickling effect. So in the long run, it hurts everybody. And then some people, they just want to like bury it as if it never happened, but then you end up with emotional problems. And then it affects the person emotionally. And then not only that, they end up turning a whole nother way.
Okay.
And just to add to that, I would say, like, for instance, I'll speak about myself as an example. When I was coming open and finally being able to talk to my mom about a certain situation, I told her the reason why I didn't tell her, the reason why I was holding and harboring all of that in me was because I did not want to hurt her. And when I told her that, it's like a big weight just was snatched right off of me, because she had a chance to tell me, like, listen, you can't worry about me. God said he will never put too much on me that I can bear. She straight brought the word to me. And that's how we got the chance to get open and build our relationship. It was, it was blocked. I felt like I couldn't go to my mother, and that was terrible, So I would just add that.
And I had one question before, Mommy, you come on. Were you in the church then?
I was in the church since I was 6. So I knew better, but I was letting my mind get the best of me, which was a major no-no. You have to be open.
And see, this
whether
is
it hurts or not.
And I was going to say, and this is one of the things that people need to realize, is that even in the church, being saved, sanctified, like they say, Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized with a mighty burning fire. And I've been in the church, and I'm the pastor, I'm the elder, I'm the most sanctified deacon. deaconess and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. You
But,
get caught up in titles.
but there is still issues.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's just that some are not willing to open up so
That's
that others
right.
can see or understand their issues. You want to be,
Yes.
listen, this is one of
Right.
this is my favorite group. All right. In
Yes.
They are misfits. None
Yeah.
of them are perfect. They came from all walks of
I know, but
life.
that's why I love them though. Yep. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And anybody and everybody can relate to them. And this is
right.
how the church should be when it comes to this. All right, Mommy, I know you had something. I'm not going keep going on.
First
Because I got
of all,
people
before
online.
before I say anything, I would like if you can repeat the question, because I believe most of it was already said what I was going to say. But can you repeat it anyway, please?
Okay, no problem. Why do we keep family secrets is the first part, but also who does it really hurt?
Okay, we keep them because, first of all, is judgmental. You don't want to be judged for what you said or what you did in your household behind closed doors. Then you keep them too because you are threatened that if you say anything, there's repercussions.
Whoa.
So you have
That's
to
a
be
good point.
careful
Say
of
that
what
again.
you say, because the family might, what can I say, accept it in the presence of others, but they don't know what that child or whoever have to face when they get behind closed doors.
Wow.
So you have to be careful, and it hurts because here you are being truthful to get the help that you need. But I'm gonna say the parents, they think, okay, now you messed up my name, or now people are looking at me through, oh, I thought she, like you said, I thought she was in the church. I thought, full same sanctified full of the Holy Ghost. So in a way, as a child, you have to be careful, because it's like you don't know who you can trust. I might come to you and tell you what I've been going through, what's been said to me or whatever, and then you're trying to help me, but then you might get with somebody else to have that that connection where y'all two can probably pray together, I say. But it'll get back to the family, the mother, the father, whatever. And so you have to be careful, because you don't want to get hurt. So you're not, here you are getting hurt really on both sides, and you don't know how to deal with it. And you're a child. So like she said, like Bebop said, then you grow up, I can't trust nobody. So, so you carry this, and then more is put on you. Then you're gonna say, golly, I'm stuck in this place, but I can't trust nobody. Who do I go to?
Yeah, come on.
So what can you say? You're hurting, and the parents thinking, okay, you are a misbehaving child, or you hard headed because you telling people, but you want help, but you don't know where to go to get the help. Yeah. So that's why some children, and we as children grow up, and you want to know, where did they get that from? Why do they feel that way? You don't know what went behind closed doors, what the parents or what them said or did to them. So they shun from people, and they carry it being quiet, and they're hurting. So you have to be careful who you can trust. And like I had told somebody too, I'm telling something to you, and I'm saying, don't say nothing until I find out the real deal. And then I hear you 20 minutes later telling somebody what I just told you. Guess what? I trust you no more. That's it. Because I asked you, don't say nothing. I'm trusting you. I'm trying to build this relationship with you that I can trust you. You just showed me within 20 minutes. I can't trust you. So guess what? I never went back to you again. So then I go to my friends, and you want to know why? I can't trust you. So.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I was going to say, from a different aspect of it, if family secrets hurt the kids, because if there's discrepancy in their bloodline, who's actually their parent, who's actually their aunt, I think we spoke about something about this similar before. There's that hurts them when they find out later on in life. And then they do family secrets like that, again, for perception. They don't want people to know that their family is messy. They don't want people to know, oh, that family got issues. No, they always want to be that perception of perfect. And that's not how life is. Everybody messes up, everyone falls, but we don't keep secrets. That shouldn't be a good thing. And then too, with keeping secrets, there's spirits that pass on genetically that now this child can be jacked up and they don't really know why.
Right.
That aspect. So they're fighting and they don't know how to fight because they don't know what they're fighting. Because nobody wants to say, well, this is actually your father, not your uncle.
Right. And
or this is your father and he's your cousin. However it goes, they still need to know.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I just wanted, I think it was Latrice, I call her the pretty girl. She was saying about protecting her mother. She didn't want to hurt her mother. And a lot of, we don't sometimes as parents, we don't recognize that our kids go in that protective mode. That they want to, they want to protect their parents. They see, they might see their parents struggling and and know that it's not a lot of money in the house or whatever the situation is, and they build that protective mode within their self. Like they don't realize that they can't save the parent. They just know I want to, in their world, in their head, they go in that protective mode and they want to do something because they love their parents. It's not that they're doing anything that is bad. It's just that we sometimes as parents just don't recognize it. But what they doing is showing their love to their mom or to their dad, that they want them not to be hurt, not to be disappointed, not to struggle, So they doing what they do out of love, but it's our job to ask God to show us that they don't get in that protective mode, and to keep a line of communication open with them so we can let them know, like Cherie said, that Elder Charlene said, you don't have to worry about me. God got me. But to a kid, they may not understand that she's relying on God because they can't see that yet.
Right.
So we have to be careful not to, to recognize that they are going in that protective mode to love their parents.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because Sister Williams put, the one that started the secret will be hurt or embarrassed. Also, Brother Isham put on there, family secrets equal years of family stress. Family secrets equal years of family stress. Because you're trying to keep, like they would say, you're trying to keep the secret a secret. All right. And I don't want to expound on that too much, but yes. And like we said, the child is trying to protect the parent because they don't want, all right, the parent to deal with anything else that they got, because like you said, you already see the parent has a lot on their plate. There's a lot on their mind, and the child is trying to do whatever the child can to help ease that stress, help ease that pain, so they're trying to do it. And in actuality, it's kind of hurting them, but it's also hurting the family. And like we already alluded to, trying to keep the secret, all right, trying to keep the secret a secret, does nobody any good. Because for one, when you try to keep the image of being so perfect, like your stuff don't stink, like you are the perfect blended family, you have the perfect marriage, you have the perfect life, this, that, and the other, it doesn't allow people to be able to see you as relatable, because they will see you as, wow, I can't even obtain that, I can't even touch that, I can't even grasp. they live so perfectly. They don't do anything wrong. They don't have, no, listen, the mistakes and the scars that we have, the secrets that we keep is actually fuel, all right, for us and ammunition for us to be able to witness to somebody else and let them know. It's like, listen, you see me now as Superman, but let me tell you about when I was Clark Kent. All right. You see me now as the Hulk, but let me tell you what I was like when I was Bruce Banner. All right. You see me now as Wonder Woman, but let me show you what I was like when I was Princess Diana. All right. You see me now, you know, as whoever I am. All right. But I need to tell you the story and show you, because some of us know of the places, all right, of the clubs, all right, that we used to go to, the Oasis, all right, what is that? The Redwood, all right, you know, all them places, all right, that we used to go back in the day, all right, and we go back and we tell them, it's like, listen, this is what I used to do, and they'll be like, what? You used to do this? And you tell them, it's like, yes, I did this. I turned the club out. I did all of that and then some. But you know what? God delivered me and God pulled me out. And you see how my family is now? This is not how my family used to be. Actually, my family used to be tore up because of me doing what I used to do. I caused headaches and I caused problems in my family that was not necessary. I tried to keep the secrets. I was the one that was sneaking out at night. I was the one that was the knucklehead, but they were doing everything that they could to, oh God, they were doing everything that they could to protect me. But in essence, let me warn us that sometimes in doing that, in protecting the person, it is actually detrimental to the person. Because when they get older, they will not realize, or they will not be able to admit when they are wrong, because they have been sheltered and we have been doing everything that we can to protect their so-called image. And so after a while, they end up drinking their own Kool-Aid, all right, and thinking that their Kool-Aid is the best stuff in the world. When in actuality, their Kool-Aid has too much water in it. And they only use one Kool-Aid packet, when you know you got to use like 5 of them in order to get some real, real taste up in there. And you got to put like, a whole bunch of sugar in there. And they think that their Kool-Aid is good and their Kool-Aid is not. And it's because the family has been protecting them. And even as parents, we have been sheltering them. All right. And we have been coddling them. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. All right. And smothering, when we talked about smothering our kids, smothering our grandkids. All right. It's not always a bad thing, but it's not always a good thing. Because does anybody else have anything else that they want to say? Another point or a question or something that came to mind? You can come off of mute and ask or say.
Oh, Pastor, I even said while you was talking about smothering, and I say it's even in the church too, with the adults, that we cannot tell adults and be honest with them and they take correction and love, that they don't see themselves as being wrong or out of sort, because they have been coddled too. It could have been from their childhood that everybody tried to cover them. And then they get into adulthood, and then they're in the church, been in there for years, and then they still acting like they on the milk when they should be on the meat, and you can't tell them, and then they catch an attitude. It's in the church too. So you know what? It has to stop somewhere. So they need to be honest. I think that, as we as adults need to be honest to say, you know what, I'm still carrying this. Just be honest so we'll know where you are. So, that's where the healing comes in at. It's in the church. It's a hospital for the sin sick soul. You're still carrying the burden. You're still carrying the sin because you covered it up because you're an adult now. So you think you put it on the back burner in the hiding closet or whatever. But when the pastor talks to you or try to correct you or whatever, stepping on your toes, you catch an attitude. And then you say, so, you know what I'm saying? So you see it in the church too.
Yeah, yeah. Because some people say it or
Yes.
see it as a trigger. They say you done triggered something. No,
Yeah.
it's only a trigger because you never allowed anybody to. Now, I was going to use that analogy,
That's right. Go ahead.
but because of how sensitive everybody is with gun violence, all right, let me clarify this and pull back because I was ready to go all in. We never allowed somebody to pull the trigger.
Right.
So that bullet of hurt can be shot out of the gun and never to be reloaded. So that the next bullet that comes up into the chamber is a totally different situation, a totally different trigger. That bullet can be shot out. Because what we need to get to the place where the clip is completely empty. And God can take his time and refill that clip with the bullets that he wants that are going to hit the targets that he wants it to hit.
Yeah.
Sister Latrice or Elder
Be by
Bebop?
all. It was by all.
Yeah. As everyone was talking, I was even thinking it spills over into the church. Because like when you call a prayer line and people come up for prayer, but because they never got delivered or because that secret was never exposed, like when they go up and you ask them, I have a habit of asking, what do you want prayer for? And so they might want to say, but they don't really get to the root of why they really want prayer. They may touch it a little. And so in that case, unless God take over and intervene, you won't even hit the spot that they really need hit, because in their mind, they want to, but their mind is saying, remember, you can't tell that part. Remember, no one could know that. And that hinges on their deliverance. So they're constantly, they're coming up for prayer, but they not getting delivered, or a breakthrough is not coming because the root never got touched. The root is still there. And so, and their mind is still closed. Like, okay, I could only say but so much.
Yes.
So, like I said, unless God like intervene and take over that prayer, they won't get the help that they need.
Yep.
It's gonna be like stunted growth.
Yes.
Because you're not given a chance to open up.
Yeah. Yeah. They need a root canal. Is really what it is. They need the drill to drill so that they can get to that root, and then they need the little prong to go up in there and deaden that root and kill that root.
Right.
That's
or
the only
spiritual
way.
enema.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real.
Yep. Yep. Anyone else?
Oh yeah, one last thing.
It's all right.
Just think how many people that we could bring to Christ if we could only tell the truth.
Be honest.
Right. If we could be honest, because it will allow somebody else to relate to it, and they're able to open up, and their mind can say, you know what? Oh, that happened. This happened to me too. Hey, I could be delivered.
They down to earth just like
I could be set free. But not only are we hurting ourselves, we're hurting the ones that we're supposed to be bringing in.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
But
I'm
also,
done.
It's okay.
Wait a minute,
but
don't
let
be
me
done.
add
Don't
on
be done
to
just
that.
yet.
Okay.
You also got to think about it. Some of our family members that we've been praying for haven't come because we keeping the secret. They know the secret. And we praying that they will come to Christ, but because we holding on to that secret, they not coming.
Yeah.
They not coming. They not coming. Anyone else? All right.
I want to say it's shame too, I'm just listening and hearing everyone. It's the shame that even we as believers have, and we're talking about being transparent, to understand that we are truly forgiven. And sometimes we are afraid to share because we may even be tiptoeing back into it. And once we expose it out, once we share it out and expose it out, we are held accountable for what we say. So we like to keep things a secret because we still kind of enjoying where we are. And if we expose where we are, then those who can relate can see that we're not truly delivered. So it causes us now to have to walk according to the word, not just by our flesh outside, but really, like Bebop was talking about, deliverance. People come up for prayer. I ask the same question. We have to say it out loud. We have to understand it. And also, people don't trust. People may have even said it to others and nothing was done. People may have even shared it and they were made fun of or felt ashamed. So sometimes they hold it in because they're afraid to let it out, not knowing if we, the body of Christ, is really going to do what God has said, to love them through it and not make them feel ashamed of it, you know?
It's a shame that, I mean, I don't hate to do it, but I'm just a product of co-pastor. I'm just sorry. But that's one thing Minister Smith can refer back to this too. I mean, when she had me and Deaconess Watts and Tina and Benz, she taught us, this is your safe haven. This is a safe haven. And then when she had Robin, Shalon, and TT and them, that was their safe haven. So until we get leaders and until we come up to that plate that we can relate and people can trust us to be that safe haven in the church, we won't have it. You know, I think a lot of this, what Elder Charlene is talking about, I believe it comes in small personal group. Each one of us in my generation had our own to co-pastor. Janice had hers. I wasn't jealous of hers. I had mine. She wasn't jealous of mine. Sister Benz had hers. She wasn't jealous of ours. So, I mean, we all had our special piece of her. And I know the young girls, they had their special piece of her. And we knew that it was safe there. We knew that it was safe there. And sometimes pastor and co-pastor didn't even tell each other about members. You know, they didn't even discuss it with each other. So until we get that safe haven and a place that we feel like we're safe, that we won't be judged and talked about, and it won't get around the church, it's not going to happen. They got to feel like I think through small groups and personal encounter. I mean, co-pastor toured with us. She laid with us. She labored with us. And through all of that laboring, we built a trust and a relationship. And we each one of us had our own little piece of her, you know, and we knew that we could lean on her. I mean, it was time she told us we had to grow up. You know, there was time that she was tough and there was time that she wasn't, that she gave us that space and that safe haven. So, I mean, it's a job that as elders of the church, as ministers of the church, that we have to start building those relationships within the congregation so the people can feel safe. You know, it's a lot. We have to give a lot, but God will give us the strength and, you know, to be able to do it. Because sometimes I think, oh my God, I feel like co-pastor and pastor they gave so much. They gave so much to us. And I know every church is not going to be like that, and every pastor is not going to be like they were. But she built that trust we could trust her, and she could trust us too. She could trust us with some of her stuff. You know, people used to say, Gina Schuler, you can only want to tell co-pastor something. We can't talk to co-pastor like that, you know, but we had a trust, we had an understanding with each other. So, you know, I just want to say I miss my co-pastor a whole lot. I don't know about nobody else, but you got to build that trust to get there with the people, and they got to know that it's a safe place to be.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say all that, but
that's all right. It's all right, but it is needed. It is needed because, you know, people think that, and let me just add a little more context to what you were saying. People think that that trust is only built when you're spending time at the altar. And that's not the only time that that trust is built. Actually, that trust sometimes is built at the altar, but also going out to All Seasons Diner. That trust is also built when you go down to Atlantic City, all right, to Victory for Hour of Power, but then you skip out and go to the Taj Mahal while co-pastor is sitting up there in front of you, but the rest of your group was snuck out during offering to go to the Taj Mahal to play the video games or go to the showboat. Ain't that right now? Because you build that bond. You build that bond through experiences. And it boils over into when you begin to work in ministry. This is why you have heard me say that you have to spend quality and quantity time with each other in service and out of service, because that's how you'll be able to know each other on another level, because some people would not have realized that co-pastor and Mother Schuler was having a race, all right, to see who could have their child first, because Schuler was pregnant with Troy while my mother was pregnant with me, both at the same time. So they had their little race, all right? And so it builds, all right? It builds around, all right, time that you spend with each other, so that you will have, as Mother Schuler said, you will create that safe haven. You create that space, you know, and you can go and say pretty much anything and you won't feel judged, but you have to spend that time with them, and that space has to be created. And that space and that time is created over time and through different situations. And it comes to, like we said, is our first point is this, very simple: pull off your own covers. That's the simplest way to put it. We're gonna go over our time, but it's gonna be on purpose. Pull off your own covers. Take the time out when, and let me put some extra meat to it, when it is, as Mother Schuler said, when it is safe, because you do have some people that will pull them off and it's the wrong time and it's the wrong place. But God will let you know when it is the right time, when it is the right place, and it's the right person. Then you will be able to pull off those covers, and it will not be a shameful situation or a shameful piece. It will actually be a blessing, because you will be free, but also it will be a blessing to the person, because it was exactly what they needed at that particular moment, at that particular time, because the space was created. And too many of us, let me put it this way, too many of us are I'll exaggerate, weigh 2,000 pounds, because we're trying to hide 2,000 pounds worth of secrets. And we only got 1 foot by 1 foot blanket trying to cover everything up. And that's not even big enough to cover your pinky toe. And you're trying to cover your pinky toe, but everything else is exposed. But if you ask God to show you when, where, and how, all that weight is going to come up off of you. And you're not going to have 2,000 pounds worth of secrets sitting on you, weighing on you, because you pulled the covers off when God told you to pull the covers off, and you exposed it yourself. Because we try to hide things and make sure no one knows what really happened. And that does not help us, and it does not help anyone else. We try to keep a lie. Listen, trying to keep a lie, or trying to keep a secret secret will cause damage to us in more than one way, because it will affect us emotionally, spiritually, mentally, some of us financially and physically. It'll affect us in every area of our life. And it'll even affect us the way that we relate to other people, because we are trying to keep everything covered, because we don't want to expose. But it's the time, and the sad part about it, God has created the time and we hear God clearly, but we're still holding on to it and still trying to cover up. And God is like, listen, I created the space, I created the time. Now it's time for you to get free of whatever it is. Because who the Son sets free is free indeed. You don't have any more shame. Because why? Because God has created the space. All you have to do is be the willing vessel to listen to the voice of God as he is telling you. Because sometimes our deliverance from whatever it is with us speaking it out of our mouth. And if we don't speak it out of our mouth, then we will continue to hold on and harbor, all right, that secret, all right, that demon, that spirit on the inside of us. But if we speak it out of ourselves and say, I'm letting this go. I'm giving it to God. And as Elder Bebop said, it's the root. Don't just give me some surface. Don't give me some fluffernutter. All right. Don't give me that fluffy. Don't give me no marshmallows. No, give me the deep down. All right. What's the root cause of this? Because y'all have heard me say too many times, we react, all right, to the symptoms, and we never deal with the cause. We never deal with the cause. We just react to the symptoms, when in actuality, the symptoms is just the person crying out for help. And we got to look past the symptoms and get to the root, all right? Get to the real meat of the matter. Because let me say this, don't let it be someone, all right, that pays attention to detail. Because especially when you're telling a lie, don't let it be somebody that pays attention to all the little details. And for any young person that's watching, let me give you a secret. From my own experience, it's better off if you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You may get in trouble, but if you have a right thinking parent, you will not get in trouble as much. I will tell you, give you a prime example. I was being chased in school one time by a person. All right. And I had my belt buckle in my hand. And as I was running out of the classroom, I had the belt buckle in this part of my hand, and I hit the glass and broke the glass. But I kept running. I ran straight to the principal's office, and I knocked on his door and interrupted whatever he was doing and told on myself. Never got in trouble for it. Never got in trouble for it. Why? Because I went directly and told everything that happened. I was being chased. I put my hand through, I had the belt buckle in my hand, broke the glass. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna tell your mother that you came and told me. All you gotta end up having to do is pay for the glass. My parents never scolded me or anything else. But why am I saying that? It's because if you tell the truth, if you take the covers off yourself, then you don't have to be concerned about trying to keep the lie alive. Because the point that I was making is this: don't let you start talking to somebody and you're trying to keep a lie alive and they have a real good memory, because they're going to remember every single thing that you said. And then they're going to go back and ask you another question from the beginning of when you started talking. And you got to remember every little detail that you said in between all of that. Because going political for a moment, this is why it's so important and imperative that we pay attention to what happened, all right? All of the information that we have right now concerning the January 6th insurrection and the rioting and all that other stuff that went on that day. Because if we don't get all of the information, if Congress and that whole panel does not get every single thing, and whoever needs to be prosecuted and whoever needs to be locked up and all that other stuff, if all of that is not done, the lie will continue to be a lie, but also next time it will not just stop with them storming the Capitol, it will actually go further and they will take over the Capitol. This is how coups happen in countries. Because they start at one time, and then each time it goes a little bit further. You look at it with secrets and lies in families, whether you're in the church or out of the church, same exact thing. You try to keep the lie alive. You try to keep that perfect image within your family. After a while, it's going to be exposed. So, like we said, the only point that we're going to get to on tonight is why not go ahead and expose it yourself in a safe place, in a safe haven? Why not pull off your own covers? Because it's only going to be a blessing to somebody else, but it's also going to be a blessing to you, because it's going to free you, but it's also going to bless somebody else, because they're going to say, I never knew you had that situation going on. I never knew that you was doing this. I never knew that you was doing that. I never knew that you had that problem. You'd be like, child, whew, I feel like the weight of the world was just lifted up off me. Well, yeah, you was trying to keep that secret a secret and keep that lie alive. Listen, pull the covers off of that joker and watch who you bless. Watch who comes into the house of God, because you're not acting like you bougie. You're not acting like you're a super saint, because there is no super saints in the house of God. There's no super saints in the church. Everybody got some type of problem. With that much being stated, does anyone have any questions or comments or anything else that they want to add? Because we're not going to get to the next set of questions or even the next point.
Pastor, I'd like to bring up a point.
Uh-huh.
Confession brings, I can't even get it. I just lost it. When you confess, it brings repentance, and repentance brings strong delivery.
Mm.
When you confess to God and repent to Him, He brings strong deliverance to everyone that heard your confession. And now you are strong enough that they too can confess and receive the deliverance of whatever it was.
Yeah. But also the other thing is too, when it comes to repentance, you got to turn from it.
That's the point I want to make. That is the key to that point. You got to maintain the strong deliverance.
Yep. You got to turn from it. You can't turn back to it. Can't go and repeat. Yes, some, and keep it 100. Yes, some will fall back. Some will repeat it again. But God is faithful. God is just. He will forgive us.
Thank you, Lord.
But we have to make sure that we put in the effort. We do the work. We do it. As long as we do what God has told us to do, then we will continue to mature in him, and those things that used to pull us down, those secrets that we used to have, they're not going to hold us back. They're not going to hold us down any longer. We just going to be able to soar. We just going to be able to soar. Anyone else? All right. Well, we're going to try to finish this next week. All right. I believe and I trust and I hope that you were blessed by the lesson on tonight. My name is Pastor Lamont Brown. I'm the pastor of Faith Baptist Tabernacle here in Asbury Park, New Jersey, where we are evangelizing to the family while building disciples.